Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Halftime, the show where everything's made up and the points don't matter. I really hope that's not actually copywritten. I'm Adam Wolf, and today we're going to be covering a new game that's out on Steam at the moment. It's called Strife. It was developed and published by a company by the name of S2 Games. It's a brand new company, I think. I've never really heard of them myself, and it's a brand new MOBA. It's a new MOBA that is, very reminiscent, of course, of League of Legends, as every MOBA that comes out is always trying to compete with that game. And today's episode is going to be a little different. Normally, I would play the, literally play like the first half hour of a campaign or something like that. But this MOBA obviously is mostly just an online game. It does have a tutorial, so throughout the length of this video you will just be watching me play a tutorial, and of course that will be one of the points covered in today's episode. And also what I'm going to be going over is just basically the pros and the cons of the game itself, and what I think actually ties this game together really well, and what actually needs to be improved. Now, keep in mind, this game is in early access, so there are going to be, the cons will actually cover some things that, game testers might actually run across, and being that it's in early access and being given out to us, we're the game testers. So there you go. And of course, I was once a game tester myself, officially for Activision, so I'm kind of used to writing things down and pinpointing things that are working and things that are not. But since this is going to be a much shorter type of video, and not the normal format, I'm just going to get things started. We're going to be getting into the pros of this game. Basically, just the things that I thought worked really well for the game, and things that I thought were just a good fit for this particular game. The first thing is that the art style, you notice, is actually very, comic booky. Not really comic booky. I guess that would be the wrong term to use. The art style of the game actually kind of reminds me of the Torchlight series, if you guys are familiar with that particular action RPG series. It just has that same art style, and I really enjoy that art style because it's colorful, it's vibrant, and it's very simplistic, all in the same way. So it actually really does kind of speak to me in that sense, just the visual aspects of the game that really kind of just pop out at you and say, hey, I'm a game. The next point I have to definitely go over is the extensive tutorial. As I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I am showing footage primarily of just the tutorial. I did not actually play any online multiplayer for this game. It was just trying to get into the game and understanding some of the mechanics and all that fun stuff. But I gotta say, if you're brand new to MOBAs, this game in particular is right up your alley, because the tutorial is extremely in-depth and extremely extensive, and for a game that's not even fully done yet, that's in beta if I'm not mistaken, it's very good. It's very good. A lot of games are coming out with tutorials built in and everything, and some games are getting updated, like League of Legends got updated with tutorial aspect things as it went along through its life cycle. But this one, right out of the gate, comes with an extensive tutorial. So again, if you're new to MOBA and you don't really know what it's like, or how to really play games like that, this tutorial will help you understand how to play these types of games. And quite frankly, I think it could actually help you really get into in-depth basics and maybe some advanced things throughout the time you spend in the tutorial. The next point that I think is actually quite nice is that you have a multitude of champions to choose from in this particular game right off the bat. League of Legends, when it started, and as you can see, I'm comparing it to League of Legends because League of Legends is the MOBA to compare other MOBAs to. So you're going to be hearing me talk about League of Legends a lot throughout this video. But there is actually a slew of champions to choose from. I don't know what they really call them. I'm guessing champions, but you have a lot to choose from, and it's really nice to see that they give you a variety right out of the gate. as soon as you download the game, they're all there available to you. Now, again, this was during the tutorial. I don't know if they just unlocked them for the tutorial purposes. There might be a different experience online. I'm not 100% sure. I haven't tried the online yet, but if you have and you'd like to correct me on this particular matter, please leave a comment in the bottom of the video there. Next point is, of course, easy to pick up gameplay. It is extremely simple compared to something like League of Legends, where there's a lot of technical aspect to the game that, you know, not only you have the character abilities to worry about, but you have items to worry about and everything. And although this game does have items in it, they are more or less just, you know, a lot of the time they are seen as just things that, you know, benefit you in terms of like passive upgrades, you know, passive to attack damage buff, or, you know, mana buff or something like that. I have yet to see any kind of like active items or anything like that, stuff that you activate during combat, but I'm sure they're there somewhere. You know, the gameplay itself in its own right is actually quite simple and pretty straightforward, just like most MOBAs, I have to say. As I said before, League of Legends is a little bit more in depth, but you know, that's quite an advanced game as it is already. The next point on this list is I'm very surprised at the numerous amount of graphic options that you have to choose from already. A lot of time betas will come out, they have very basic graphic options, usually kind of locked into more specific top tier kind of hardware. You know, if you don't have a really great computer to run games at, the games that you want to try, you're kind of SOL in these sort of situations. This game actually has tons of different graphic options for you to go through that really give you the opportunity to play the game in a way that suits your needs based on your hardware. So I gotta say, thumbs up to S2 Games for really focusing in on what really matters to people, even, you know, even to the lower tier hardware people. And now we have to cover the negative aspect of the games. As always, there's always got to be a negative side, and being that this is an early access game, there are some negatives about this particular release. So let's get into those right now. First thing right off the bat that I noticed, there's a lot of audio sync issues and a lot of stuttering. Particularly some sounds don't play properly at the right time. There's voiceover issues. When a character is speaking, the mouth will start moving, but the audio is lagging behind.
Well chosen. Let us proceed with the trials.
And the subtitles, if you have those turned on, they are also kind of like out of sync in their own little way, and it kind of takes you out of the immersion aspect of the game and back into the reality of, oh shit, I'm playing a beta of a game. And so that's kind of like, you know, the point of testing it, so this company can fix these issues, of course. And you know, we as a community have to make them aware of this. I'm sure they're aware of a lot of the bugs already. People, Strife hasn't been out, it's been out long enough for them to actually get information. One thing that kind of like irked me a little bit is that ending each section, now the tutorial is actually split up into sections, and ending each section of the tutorial brings the player back to the launch screen, the launcher. So they're two separate screens, kind of like League of Legends, where you got the launcher, and then once you hit play, it brings you into the game or the loading screen or whatever. At the end of each section of the tutorial, it brings you back to the launcher. That is a pain in the ass. Stop doing that. One other thing, this is very minor, of course. At the end of a match, and this was again during the tutorial, there's a practice match that you play against AI, you know, bots and stuff like that. At the end of the match, the victory/defeat prompt is missing. I don't know if that's a big deal to some people. It's a big deal to me. Obviously, I know if I won or lost, but that's not the point. The point is to actually acknowledge that you won or lost, to have this really cool victory screen or defeat screen, and you can be happy or sad in your own little way looking at these, you know, bold letters in front of your face. On top of the prompt missing, there's a countdown timer at the end of the match. What is that? Why are you counting down? There's like you have to sit there for like 30 seconds or a minute or however long it was. I felt like it was an eternity. After I finished the practice match, there's a countdown timer as to when the match ends. Why? I'm sitting looking at a screen with no victory or defeat prompt, waiting to be brought back to the launcher. Why? Why am I waiting? Just once the match ends, a couple seconds, bring me back to the launcher. That's it. I don't want to be sitting there for a lifetime waiting for the game to load back into the launcher. It should be pretty simple. Just, shut the game down. Bring me back to the launcher. That's it. I don't want to have to sit there and look at my character's sad face when I lose. That'd be disappointing. And last but not least, again, something that can be improved on over time. Load times are very varying. Take that however you will, depending on the action that you take. I found it very irritating when I went in to change some graphic options. The game kind of froze. It didn't freeze permanently, like it just stuck there and I had to shut it down. Although that's what I thought it did the first time, so I did shut the game down. But the second time I did it again, I switched the graphic options and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to sit here and wait for it to finish. And I did, and it finally finished, but all I was doing was changing the resolution. So that is actually going to bring this episode of Halftime to a close. Those are my pros and cons of this particular game. As I mentioned before, it's in early access and it's free to play. Okay, so if you want to try it out, go on Steam, check out Strife, type it in the little search box, it'll pop right up. You click on it, download it, give it a try for yourself. I highly recommend that you try the tutorial. It's a lot of fun. It's got a little bit of a backstory to it. You play as one of the main characters, and you get to understand who she is a little bit and where she comes from and her story and all that stuff. And it's really cool. It's actually very cool. It's a nifty way of bringing you into this realm of MOBAs and how these games actually work. But that is going to bring this episode of Halftime to a close. I'd like to thank you all for joining me. And please join me again when I bring up the next episode of a brand new video game of my choosing, of course. It could be a free-to-play game. It could be a game that that we're all anticipating and that I actually footed the bill for, as I always do. And if you guys actually enjoy this type of format for this show, please let me know in the comments below. I'd really like to know if you guys like the shorter version or if you guys actually like watching the first half hour of a game. This one was a little bit difficult because it's not really a story campaign, although the tutorial can be seen as that. But, it was longer than a half hour, so it's kind of iffy. But I really like to know what you guys think about the format of the show with this video, if I should keep it like this or if I should just continue on doing what I was doing before. And please, definitely go down in the video description, check out all the links down there, my Facebook, my Twitter, my website. That'd be very nice of you guys to actually check that out because I worked so hard on it. And absolutely check out my Extra Life campaign. I'm trying to raise $200 this year for the Children's Hospital here in Albany, New York. I'd really much appreciate it. Any amount is always appreciated. Any amount that you can possibly spare for these kids would be awesome. And by all means, don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, guys, I'm Adam Wolf. This is Strife. And I will see you guys in the next video.